working in the industry, summer jobs. I lived in this area, so that's what we did. We worked in hospitality in many areas. But so I learned early on that I was a people pleaser. I still am, but I learned that pleasing other people was something I really enjoyed, or that came natural, very satisfying to me. So that's what we did. And then, of course, adding our own twist to everything, and being able to incorporate the things we loved in our life. The sense of fresh food and farming, and the gardens, and the antiques, and the arts and crafts style, and on and on and on. Everything I became enamored with, I could just incorporate it into my work. My work was always my play. I was very lucky. Girls of our generation didn't have a lot of female role models, so all of my friends' mothers were stay-at-home moms. So, well, I guess I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, because that was when I was very little. But I think at an early age, I started reading things like existentialist novels, and I figured, well, I want to have a salon when I grow up. I want to have dinner parties. My mother gave fabulous dinner parties, so I always wanted to have dinner parties. But I didn't want to have mindless conversation at dinner parties. I wanted to have college professors and people who were intellectuals and thoughtful people speaking about what they were thinking about and dreaming about. And that was kind of my dream was, I'm going to have a little house at the end of a lane. It'll be a Tudor, 2 kids, 2 dogs, station wagon, and lots of dinner parties. I guess I kind of got my dream in a weird kind of way. At a young age, relatively young age, I lost both my parents and 4 months apart. So I was 33. I had 3 children and a business here at the inn, 1986. We had only been here for maybe 6 years. So when you get the rug pulled out from under you, and then you have to pick yourself up and say, I can do this, and how will you cope? And you find a way, you find an inner strength maybe I didn't know I had. My mother was more of an introvert, and she was very artistic, and she loved to paint, but she also could do anything. She could refinish furniture and always make something look good, around the house. So I think I learned a lot about how to make something out of nothing from my mother. And she was also kind. She was never not judgmental. She was very, I never heard her really my whole life gossip or say bad things about people. My father was competitive. He was handsome. He was a world-class athlete. He broke the world's record in track when he was in college. He was a product of World War II. So I think most I learned from my father was that competitive spirit, and an appreciation for teamwork and athletics, because that was his life. Failure can happen at any time. You may fail at one thing, but then another strength will pick up and you'll carry on. So that I think strength is something that I have an innate strength to be able to just say, okay, so what? And keep going. Once I understood that my work was really my play, then I had to try and find a balance for family, especially for family, so that I wasn't always playing. I was taking care of my family. And then I think every woman goes through this, the division, the tug of war with managing your children and managing your career. My grandmother was my first hero, and I really got my sense of humor from her. She just found something funny in everything, and I loved to be with her. And I learned a lot of just about how to laugh all the time. So laughter is great medicine, right? It was never easy to be, a woman in business. People would come to me all the time and say, where's the boss? Vendors would come in, can I talk to the boss? And I'd have to say, you're looking at the boss, and how can I help you, or things like that. So there weren't a lot of women in hospitality at the time. Hillary Clinton actually became a lifelong hero for me. I remember when she was first elected, she was the first lady, and she said, am I going to go to the White House and bake cookies? And so many people thought that was, here was this successful lawyer, and, this is what women did. We went and became hostesses, so I admired her gutsiness. And it was really great to watch somebody who just went out there and got things done. I imagine where I got the nerve to be president of the Chamber of Commerce or president of the Pocono Mountain Vacation Bureau or serve the first woman on the bank board and things like that. It was because you had to be gutsy. I guess when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, and that's when you gain the next layer of strength. Yeah, the silk mill. Well, that was never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that my family would own the underwear factory. And what do you do with it? Figuring out, getting that anchor tenant, getting Peter Bolin. If it wasn't 2008, we probably wouldn't have been able to do what we did, take an 1880 building and put 2000 technology into it. So because then when the anchor tenant with the Lackawanna College, it was so satisfying to bring in a college too soon for our family. The building that is now Ledges Hotel, the business went bankrupt and went on the market. And we were just in the throes of working on the silk mill, but yet it was just like an opportunity. You had to buy that property. We had just opened the Cocoon. We were running this property, we were running the Bethlehem property and a coffee house, and now another hotel, only a mile away. And so it was not part of our growth plan, but we did it. And then, 3 years later, Silver Birches came along, family resort on Lake Wallenpaupack. Now we added a resort to the collection. And it was really fun because you could do anything from 1920s to the present and just make it all that nostalgia. And I never expected ever that we would add Carbondale to the collection of, so a 60-room hotel that had been a Best Western was really not part of my purview or how I knew how to do. But actually decorating and doing the interior work with that one was really a lot of fun. It was like a palette I had never seen. So I never imagined that I wouldn't own a set of unique properties, but I never imagined that I would. So when the opportunities arise, jump on it, do it. And I think do it was something I was never afraid to do. What's the worst that can happen? It was a passion to do the first one, which is the Settlers Inn, where we are now. And then the second one was an 1858 Gothic mansion, industrial. It was just the opposite of what the Settlers Inn is. This was created by the Industrial Revolution, Robert Sayre's home. And we had this opportunity to buy this inn in my hometown of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where my family was from. What advice would I give my younger self? Oh, I guess I would tell me to be a little more patient, to listen. Listening is very difficult because when you're always on the move, it's hard to stop and listen. I do have a little mantra that came to me at one time, and it's be kind, find peace. I think I admire generosity of spirit, kindness, and patience, success, creativity especially, I think is what I really admire, because you can't be successful without being creative in some way. There's lots of challenges in this world for young girls, but they have that opportunity that just like everyone else now. I don't know. I don't think young girls think of themselves as a minority. And they know they can be astronauts. They have role models everywhere. They can go into space. They can go into medicine. They can be on the Supreme Court. They can be President of the United States. So they, they can do whatever they really want to, as long as they're encouraged. And every child, whether it's a boy or a girl, needs to be encouraged. What is my mantra?